Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming once again to the Dr. Ira Show. This is the month of June, and I have some powerful fathers that are coming on this month. This young man was on the Dr. Ira Show maybe a year ago, maybe two, and this young man is on a whole another level. They call him the Millennial Hope Dealer. I'm going to read a little bit about him, and we're going to let him fire away. The last time this young man was on the show with one of his colleagues, it was one of my highest listened shows. It was one of my highest listened to shows. So we want to go ahead and Issac Grace is a high school dropout who had just one dream of building his legacy in the world during his lifetime. At a very young age, 21, he started working in real estate with little to no experience, but with his courage and a curious personality, he made his way through it. And since 2014, his company has closed over 100 deals, grossing over 1 million in revenue. Now, being a real businessman, he wants to enlighten youth struggling with their career in real estate or looking for a start in a business, a helping hand to let them grow. This morning, I worship family. Please help me welcome the Millennial Hope Dealer Mr. Issac Grace. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Ira. I appreciate the opportunity and I appreciate the intro.
You're an amazing man. I've been following you through the month, and I actually honestly have taken some of those courses, the bundle, and I've taken some of those courses. And one thing I like about you, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you stay in your lane. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that is important in business or not, but now I see you, you have a book, and we're going to get into that later, but 28 years old, and you are pure. I see you are an advocate for the African American male. You're a husband, a father, and I just am so honored that you're on here this morning. But
Yeah.
I know we heard the bio, but tell the listening audience, who is Issac?
Yes, absolutely. So welcome. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for listening this morning. I'm Issac Grace, 28 years old. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a father of two. I have two beautiful daughters, and I'm the author of Creating Cash and Real Estate for Millennials, which is my new book I recently wrote and launched on my 28th birthday in May. And that has really just changed my life. I've been in entrepreneurship over these last 7 years. Through the ups and downs, I'm thankful for every experience I really went through because it's helped me become the successful entrepreneur I am, the father I am today, and just a community activist that I'm focusing on becoming. Um, I have a real estate investing business. I have a real estate wholesaling business. I have an income tax company as well. I just launched my new clothing brand, which is now also a self-development educational group, Legacy Over Lifestyle. So I'm doing a few different things, but more importantly, like you mentioned, I'm the Millennial Hope Dealer. So my most passionate of work of all of my bodies of work is actually inspiring people through my story and through my testimonies to show everybody, not even just millennials, just everybody who may feel stuck or may feel like, they can't excel or they can't break through and actually the things that they have in their head bring it to reality. I like to always tell my story and show my example just to inspire people because I was inspired at 21 when I got started. So that's me in a nutshell.
And I want to go back a minute. I did not know. I did see the clothing line.
Yes.
And I like the clothing line actually. And I said, wow, he got a clothing line. I want to talk about that legacy. Um,
Yeah.
I remember hearing a lot, and I'm sure you'll get into it with your colleagues and how you started. But I also often hear about build your legacy for your last name. Can you explain to the listening audience what that means or how that ties into what you do to inspire people?
Absolutely, yes. So, building my legacy for our last name is all a mindset hack that has been instilled into me over these last 7 years to ultimately focus on generational wealth. A lot of times in our African American cultures, we're not taught or trained or mentally tricked to think more long term and just play more of the wealth building games in life versus just living life. So what happens and what has happened is it has caused us to be in this big last place of wealth gap here in America. So what I've tried to do on my journey, and not just say it, lead by example, is learn how to delay instant gratification and learn how to find satisfaction in making legacy moves. So buying real estate assets, starting businesses, getting life insurance, putting my family members in position to work, with me or help them support their businesses. So I'm always trying to think about, is this move going to benefit my legacy or is it going to benefit my lifestyle? And I just want to be a first generational legacy. I just want to be a first generational legacy builder. So I want to be able to live a big legacy behind for the next generation so that we can start that trend. And I want that for millions of Black families all around, the world, honestly.
Wow. Let's start back from your humble beginnings. We're going to bring it on up to today. As they heard a while ago, you were a high school dropout. I want you to talk to the listeners in the UK and everybody that's listening, Canada. Talk to that young man or the big mom who has a grandson, and she's so scared that he's going to he quit school and now there's nothing left to him but to go to jail, be a statistic. Talk to those people today, if you would, please, sir.
Yes, absolutely. For me growing up, I was one of them knuckleheads. My grandmother was that big mom that just feared that I will go to jail or I would, be dead, because I just was rebellious to, just the normal way of life, waking up, being obedient, going to school, getting good grades, and just, following the American dream, I would assume, if that's the best words to use for it. Early on, I grew up with, my mother. She was married. My father was, incarcerated, like a lot of my upbringing. So my mother married when I was about 2 or 3 years old. And that lasted till I was about 13, 14. And that's when, like, kind of her and my stepfather, he passed away now, but, he started really getting abusive, putting his hands on her. And, they had their problems. So they separated. And my mother moved down to Georgia. And at this time, I was like really, really rebellion. I wasn't the best son, to be honest, towards my mom. I took advantage of her kindness and her weakness. And, when she decided to move, I just told her I didn't want to move to Georgia. So I ended up staying in New Jersey, moving with my grandmother. And my grandmother was a little different. I was a little more scared of her because I wasn't around her much. And she was a little bit more like militant. She was a church lady. She was a Baptist Christian. So she was dedicated to church. And, she didn't play. She had her rules. She was strict. She wasn't into the nonsense. She wasn't into allowing her kids to get harmed or get in harm's way. So we bumped heads really, really bad from about freshman year to about my sophomore to junior year. And that's when she pretty much kicked me out 2 times in between that. The second time I decided that I'm just going to go on my own. You're going to kick me out. But I didn't she didn't send me back to Georgia with my mom like she did the first time. The second time I just left her house when she told me get out, and I actually stayed with another relative of mine who was like 23, 24 years old, my uncle. And at the time he was out hustling, running the streets. And, it was really, really, I stayed with him for about 8 months to a year. And it was really, really tough during that time because, he was young and he was on the go. And I was, spending a lot of time by myself and, with a few friends in the neighborhood. But I didn't have money. I didn't have a cell phone at the time. And a lot of the decisions that I was making, from leaving my mom and being disobedient to my grandmother. And when I was disobedient, I didn't speak with her probably for 2 years until I found out she was actually dealing with a brain tumor. She passed away in 2013. We did connect back before she left this earth, but I started feeling regret, and I started like thinking about my mom, and I'm just like, yo, how I get at this age at 16 and I'm feeling like this. Like I don't got family, I don't got connection. No one's talking to me about college. And I'm not having none of them type of conversations. I'm not being enlightened on our culture, nothing. Like I'm just a human in the flesh that's not being fed nothing that is going to help me prosper. So I went through that. My uncle unfortunately got into an investigation where he was on his way to jail. So I had to move from him again. And at that time, I was starting to get a little bit older. I was approaching my senior year of high school, and I had ended up connecting with a friend who was like 22, and he was already out of high school, and he was like a full-time drug dealer. So we was good friends. I would stay over his house, but he knew my story because he would like come pick me up from my uncle's. I would kind of sleep over on the weekends and then go back home to do school. And then, I ended up dropping out of school. But through that story, I kind of got connected with him. And then that's when I kind of started, hustling with the mindset of that, like, I got to feed myself. I didn't really hustle just to be like other people, or I wasn't in no gangs. I didn't really like gang bang or anything like that. But I had that fear of being broke, fear of being hungry. So it was a way for me to make money and be able to not have to ask somebody for anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
We seen on TV 50 Cent, who was a hustler, gangbanger, and turned entrepreneur. How important do you think it is to help that young man that wants to get out the hustling game to understand that those skills? I work with a lot of workforce development, a lot of re-entrants coming out of jail, and a lot of them don't have what per se employment, but I build their skills. I'm like, yo, if you did this, then surely you can do that. How important is that, Mr. Grace?
Oh yeah, that's so important. I've learned so much from the same street principles. And even like I used to box as well, so I've learned a lot from boxing as well as the streets. Anybody who is out there, and I'm not here to promote drug dealing or that it's good or anything like that, but a lot of our people were actually really, really good at it, right? And a lot of them are actually business owners in disguise, because in order to run, anything, any type of operation, it needs to be some type of leadership. It needs to be type of accountability, accounting, projections, and profits, because nobody wouldn't risk their life if they wasn't making a dollar for it. So a lot of them same principles that a lot of us have, and we risk our lives, and we go out here and we do the average Black man or Black woman that's hustling in the streets poses every entrepreneurial trait that most entrepreneurs are scared to attack. A lot of people got fear. If you could get out there and risk your life, not only from the police, but also from other people, that's an attribute to overcome fear and really to be out there in that position, right? And you have management, you have negotiating, you have the consistency. That takes a lot of hard work to be successful. It doesn't just work. There's a lot of people who tried to hustle in this world, but wasn't successful, so it does still ultimately take work to get there. So what I would say to any of them young kings and queens that's out there who may just feel like it's their only way out, just understand that real estate is what I found. And when I found real estate, I was still hustling. And what a mentor taught me was, you ain't ever got to change your hustle, just change your product. So you just got to change what you indulge in and what you're hustling, and change that product. So if it's real estate, it's going to be new for you, but go on that journey of self-development, education, learning about it, because real estate is going to pay dividends for generations to come. The streets is only going to pay dividends for you at that moment. And you're really going to lose everything when it hits the fan. That's just how it works. Don't matter how much money you save up. We see even El Chapo. That's a perfect example. It doesn't really matter what you do, but if you can't live life the way you want and truly leave a legacy, then it's just like, well, is it worth it? Is at the end of the day. So them same skills, I would advise you to challenge yourself, and don't change your hustle. Keep that mentality, but change the product so that you can be here for your family.
Wow. That's a good nugget. I like that. And that's a segue into my next question. You said you started going after your dream when you were 21. What challenges did you face, and how does those challenges differ from today? You said you've been at 7 years. You started going at 21. I heard you say something about a mentor. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. So 21, what inspired you? What started you? And how did you get through those challenges? And what challenges do you see today that you've overcome from back in the day?
Yeah. Great question. So for me, at 21 years old, I was kind of in a point in my life where I would say that I had a good life. I didn't want for anything. I lived on my own. I did have my first daughter at 20 years old. I do have two daughters. So I had my first daughter at that time. I had money. I had friends. I had a nice car. I didn't really want for anything, but understanding self-identity, right, and self-worth, I knew that I was missing something inside because what I was doing, it wasn't bigger than life. You know, it wasn't big. I knew that it wouldn't last forever. So I always had that chip on my shoulder that I needed to find something that I could be passionate about. Again, I hustled because it came with the money. I got into real estate because I was passionate about finding a better way of life. So I got into real estate just through social media. My father actually had came home from doing like a 6-year prison bid when I was 20, having my first daughter, and he went to a real estate conference and he was telling me about it. And then I got on the internet myself one night, and then I seen some real estate related videos, and that's when I met Jay Morrison on YouTube. And I was more or less inspired by Jay Morrison's story, his message for just Black people in general. And, you know, just how highly he spoke on us was really the first time I was ever introduced into like any like, I don't know if you want to call it Black excellence, but that was the first time in my life that I ever heard a man talk in that manner. Like, it was not a custom in my area. So it kind of drew me close because I felt like those are the things that I always want to say to people, like, yo, we are special. Right. Yo, we can do more with ourselves than just being out here on these corners. Like, if we can make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 right now, why can't we go and use this money? Or why can't we do this with other things instead of sitting out here until you know? And that's just been the journey. Like, a lot of my friends back from 6-7 years ago or just coming home or still even in prison from the decisions that they made. So, you know, for me, I finally had that call, and that's what real estate was. And I just watched that video and I signed up for his courses that night. I watched some YouTube videos on credit, financial literacy, and I seen he was offering a course to teach you how to do real estate. I didn't know what to expect, but I took the course. And once I got into it, it was pretty fun in the beginning because I was just doing the book work. I was going to the library. I was changing my environment. I was starting my LLC, kind of picking my logo, doing the stuff that ain't really hard to do, right? As a new business, that's the easy stuff to do when you start a business, right? So it's like, all right, cool. And then when it was like, all right, now you really got to take action. That's when like the fear really started kicking in reality that everything just really started hitting me, Dr. Ira. It was like, wow, I'm a high school dropout. I live in this majority white community. These people are not going to really take me serious. I'm not the smartest person. Like all of them fears, no one in my family's ever done real estate. Everything just really just came crashing down on me. But through it, I say, you know what, I'm just going to try. And there was a few times that I, you know, fell on my face and quit and stopped short, but I just kept on showing up because I knew the bigger picture of what it can do for me. So that was my journey, and I closed my first deal actually 6 months into the business. I made $12,500, and that really changed my life. It didn't eliminate all the things that I thought, but it was the start to gaining some wisdom from that experience, and I never looked back since.
How did you coin the name the Millennial Hope Dealer? Why not the Black man's Hope Dealer or, you know, Grace Hope Dealer? Why the Millennial Hope Dealer?
Right. That's a really good question. So the Millennial Hope Dealer character came actually with Jay Morrison. So when I kind of started partnering with Jay in 2018, he just had this big vision for me, right? He always would say, yo, King, when it comes to the millennials, yo, you got that on lock. Anything from 18 to 29, 28, 30 years old. He was saying this to me when I was 25 years old, right? You got that on lock. You got that on lock. So he used to, on the corner class tour, I used to hear him, he used to be like, hope man, right? And that's what he would call himself.
Wow.
So I kind of was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, you know what? I could be the Millennial Hope Dealer. And then I just took that and I ran with it and I just created it. I kept talking about it. It has birthed it into a character. And I even inspired, like, we all are millennial hope dealers, you know, in this sense. You know, the millennial piece is just a niche target that I can target where they can fill, but all of us are hope dealers in our own way. And that's really what it's like. The Batman, you know, like, you know, Batman, Superman saves the day. Everyone wants to save the day, you know, and that's ultimately what the character is there for all of us to tell our truths, to be transparent, to go out there, be bold, do the impossible, document your accomplishments, show the world, and show it in a humbling way where the next person can get inspired and see that in themselves. And that's what helped me get started. And that's what has helped now hundreds and thousands of other people see me. And then now they can see themselves. And I watch people I met back in 2016 and 17. I was teaching, now running 6-7-figure businesses. And it's just a blessing in disguise. It's no hate, no jealousy. I'm really passionate about building the wealth gap for us, for Black entrepreneurship, for Black life here in America. So anytime I see a Black man or woman win, you know, I'm the biggest fan. I'm cheerleading for that all day long.
I noticed that when I did take the bundle package, a lot of times when you would take the classes, or if people don't know what I'm talking about, Mr. J. Morrison, hopefully we can bring him on here one day, but that's why I saw Mr. Isaac. And I remember he was doing the wholesaling. And what I like about it, every time I saw the bundle or they were doing a tour or anything, Mr. Grace would be with the wholesaling. I'm like, why doesn't he do that and this? How important? And I see you have several. You said you're a serial entrepreneur. I like that. But I noticed that in your humble beginnings, it was that wholesaling. You never deviated. You never tried to put anything with it. It was a wholesaling. How important is it that you have your niche and stick with it and be consistent? It will grow to other components.
Yes. So that's a great question. And I'm happy that you kind of even, you know, recognized and pointed that out, because that was the secret sauce to my success early on. We got so much information thrown at us. And even to this day, we get so much information thrown at us. 99% of people don't do nothing. So for me early on, I was trying to do so many things. Real estate. I went and got my CDLs. I didn't pass the test, but I paid my money and started driving in the trucks and quit on that. I was going to buy this guy's detail shop. And ultimately, I realized that no matter what avenue I took, it was going to take the best version of myself. So I just said, you know what? I know I can't do all these different things. I got to pick one thing that I'm going to do. And I say, you know what? Real estate surpasses all these other businesses. I'm going to pick the real estate. Then when I got into the real estate, I just said, I'm going to focus on the wholesaling, because I don't have the experience. I don't have the credit. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have a ton of money to go out there and risk. So I'm going to learn how to put these deals together. And I stayed consistent with wholesaling for so long that I've been able, just in a year and a half, where I really finally just started actually doing other strategies in real estate, have been able to generate over $1 million net worth in less than 18 months from the things that I've practiced and mastered over 5 or 6 years. So I would say it's very, very important, but at the same time, I don't think that it's always necessary, right? Because I see a lot of my students that I work with, I'm so happy that they don't have to take them 5 years to know how to, you know, maximize their profits or get in the ownership column. But I do think everybody does have their own journey. So you have to know when it's right and when it's wrong to kind of, you know, make that move. But I definitely say that you want to hone in. You want to be a master at something. You don't want to be a jack of all trades, but a master at nothing. So you definitely want to master something in your career, whether that's, you know, entrepreneurship, whether that's, you know, car washing, credit, real estate, you know, hair salon. You want to be a master at something.
That was good. Good nuggets. Creating cash in real estate for millennials. What do you hope the reader takes away when they read your book?
Yes. So creating cash in real estate for millennials is the guide to becoming a master real estate wholesaler. And a master real estate wholesaler is a real estate professional who has a business that's set up and designed with systems that ultimately keeps their business generating money every single month. Leads, money, opportunity. Reading that book, what I want the hopes of readers to get out of it is to understand how to reverse engineer yourself into a business model that is paying people 6, 5, 6, and even 7, and even 8 figures in revenue per year. But more importantly, understand the opportunity that the book is going to bring to you in terms of building more something long-term for your legacy. And that's commercial apartment buildings, portfolio building. It all starts with the same principles that I'm teaching you, just how to go find a homeowner and be a middleman or woman between their real estate property. So the book is teaching you how to wholesale real estate, which is like the entry level of real estate investing. It doesn't teach you the high level things. It's just the basics. But the principles behind that is the concept of creating deals. So it's like fishing for yourself, where we teach them how to go out there, find your own real estate deals, build your team up, know how to evaluate deals, know how to talk with cash buyers and motivated sellers and put the deals together and make 4, 5, and 6 figures at a time on the deal. So it's going to teach you the fundamentals on how to make money if you don't got credit, you don't got a lot of cash and a lot of experience. It's a great way to get started if you're passionate about starting in real estate.
And apparently this gentleman is credible. So many people, he's credible. He's a real live person. It's not someone that's a guru, because I see a lot of them, and it's so awesome to be able to see someone that looks like us, that's credible, and say, look, take this book. It happened for me. It can happen for you. So my hat goes off to you.
Thank you.
We're wrapping it up. What has been your greatest challenge as a father?
That's a great question. So my greatest challenge as a father has been just the ability to balance, just everything and just be in control of the environment. And what I really mean by that is I had my first child at a young age. My children are 5 years apart. I had my first child at a young age, and I had my second child in a young relationship that I was having. Both of my children were actually, I wouldn't say that they were both planned, but when we found out that we were having children, both of my relationships, the goal was to come together, right? It wasn't, all right, we got to figure out that's really my child, or I'm not trying to have a child. Both times I certainly, stepped up to the plate. But unfortunately, life happens and things happen. And, sometimes we get selfish about our time and opportunity, and things don't work out. So for me, one of the biggest challenges now is to balance the mess that I put myself in, right? And I don't really like to use the word mess, but I'm dealing with, 2 children. I have 2 different mothers, 2 walks of life, 2 different schedules, 2 different opinions on life, opinions on fatherhood, co-parenting. So it causes me to always have to, just juggle, balance, make it work. And as you know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. My children live back home in New Jersey. So this is also my drive to become more and more of a successful entrepreneur, because I want to be able to show their mothers that, this is what I'm doing. This is the opportunity. I want to be able to spend more time and have more just authority, not even authority, but presence around them, to see their father actually in operation and in action. And I certainly travel back home once every single month, and I spend that time. They come to my Jersey office. My oldest daughter, she's in some of my videos on me walking through properties. Right. So it's not like I'm not seeing them, but as you get greater and greater at entrepreneurship and making money, and you start building and building more on your legacy, what's a legacy without the heirs, right? And if, you know, everybody don't have kids, right? And they leave great legacies. But when you know you're leaving a legacy for your two children, it's bigger than the money. We want the memories, the principles that I want to instill into them, you know, the ways that I would like for them to think, the way I will want them to view different things. I want to teach them real history on what, you know, has happened and how, you know, things that I'm just finding out. I'm finally figuring out how the world works, and just different little things that sometimes I see and it's like, wow, that has been going on. That's how the world really works. That's really what's going on out here. And, you know, it's just, that's what I would say, just balancing and just being able to just win just make everybody happy so that we all can be one big happy co-parents and family. So that's like the journey that I'm on now, and very intentional about pushing.
Again, my hat goes off to you. I really appreciate young men like yourself, and I hope 55 million people hear what you just said, because it can be done. You can have that, be a mogul, and still be a great dad. And so my hat goes off to you again, King. What's next? What's next for Issac Grace?
Yeah, so what's next for me at this time is I'm kind of just in Millennial Hope Dealer mode, rinse and repeat. My team and I, we're looking to acquire 1,000 doors in the next 10 years. We're looking to inspire millions through our teachings. We're going on tour. We're looking to put together a Black college tour, started 2022. Just teaching everything from real estate to just life insurance to credit to how to use rental cars to make profits, right? So we're just gonna be going on tour with that. We're launching new coaching programs to continue to inspire and help more people get started, you know, in business overall. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And then fatherhood is really my next way of life, you know, going into my daughter's, actually my oldest daughter's coming down here for the entire summer, which is a great opportunity for me to really build with her. Y'all gonna see her more on my social media. I've already been planning out some business things with her. So I'm gonna try to, you know, put something together and just show her mom, like, hey, look, we got a little business that we could do, you know? So that's really what my thoughts are is now is just fatherhood and really scaling my businesses to the point that I can, you know, focus more of my time around fatherhood and just building all of my self-development. So I'm kind of in that rinse and repeat mode for the next 10 years.
I love your jargon. I love your jargon, that rinse and repeat. I love your jargon. Listen, if someone like me had $10,000 and I wanted to not so much be in wholesaling or even flipping properties or even trying to take the whole, but I just wanted my money, I know real estate is it. And if I invest in real estate, I know it's going to come back. Do you have, does your company, you know, partner with people? I heard Mr. Morrison, you know, I saw him in Tulsa. I see him in Tulsa with the Tulsa Fund project, and I'm really, really passionate about that. I want to go there one day to the museum. But
yeah,
does your company, would I be able to say, you know, hey, Issac, I got $10,000 here. I want to give it to your company, and so you can buy another property or buy that apartment complex. How does that work?
right. So that's a really great question. So our company, we don't just take you know, like funding from people. Like we're not like a crowd fund where we raise money and go and buy real estate properties, but through our networks and through our mentorship, we do offer opportunity for partnership with a lot of our mentee clients. Some of our secret circle clients that kind of work with us on more like a high scale coaching ticket. And typically, if anyone is interested, you can just text the word mentor to 404-348-2252, and you can fill out the application and just see if you can be qualified for our 10K and 90-day challenge, where we're teaching entrepreneurs how to start their real estate businesses, get out there and generate $10,000 every single month at minimum in the next 90 days. But outside of that, I mean, we can always talk. Anybody can always send me an email at info@MrIssacGrace.com. It's ISSAC. And I'm always open to hearing, you know, I'm always open to sitting down. We come across a lot of properties. I'm actually looking at a 31 unit property portfolio right now. So we always coming across deals and opportunities. So I'm always open to hear how we can partner. So, but typically we offer it in kind of value as to our mentees. So as they learn and make the extra money, we give them opportunity to grow our relationships by partnering with us.
That's good. That's awesome. That's a win-win for your mentees. He gave you some of his information already, uh, listening audience. So could you do that again? I know the book you can get on Amazon. Can I get it on Amazon or get that from you?
Yeah, so the book, go to www.creatingcashinrealestate.com and you can go ahead and purchase the book. And also, because I know also we're doing at the end of June, we're doing our book launch giveaway. So with anyone who purchases a hard copy book, you get a raffle ticket into our $2,500 cash giveaway. So I'm giving away $2,500 cash. I'm giving away 30 days of free coaching from me. You're getting one of my new mentors, Neo Davis. He does event space, so he teaches people how to go out there, find event spaces, rent them out, and make profits passively. He's offered one of his free event space classes for free to one of my participants. I'm giving away credit cheat sheets. I'm giving away wealth DNA kits. I'm giving away trucking, dispatching, and freight brokerage courses. 3 lucky people will be winning. And the way you get in a raffle is to purchase a hard copy of the book. And we're going to be doing a raffle giveaway at the end of June. So in honor of my book launch, I really I'm donating a lot of the proceeds back to the community. And then also having a lot of other peer entrepreneurs come in and offer some of our entrepreneurs some other knowledge. So that's just another way that I'm trying to bridge the wealth gap for our people. Give us more opportunity to knowledge at affordable costs and even put into cash in people's pockets.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You heard what he said, listening audience. Now I know he's on Instagram. I see him a lot on Instagram. He does a lot of lives. He just did one tonight. I'm so honored that I saw him doing a live Thursday night. He did a live with one of his people, and you all can catch him on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle, Mr.
Yep. At Mr. Issac Grace. So MRISSAC Grace, like Amazing Grace. So at Mr. Issac Grace.
So get at him, buy the book. I'm going to purchase one. Not that I want to get in the whole real estate thing, but I'm going to purchase one just because I believe in supporting Black-owned businesses. And I follow this young man. He has a whole nother story that we can't go into this morning. But this guy is the epitome of fighting. You know, if you really follow his story, and I've followed it now for like 3 years, and this young man is just awesome. And I know he's going to do some awesome things globally. So get at him. Mr. Issac Grace, we salute you this morning on the Dr. Ira Show. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
Again, this has been the Dr. Ira Show with Mr. Issac Grace, the Millennial Hope Dealer, bringing hope to not just millennials, all of us. This has been awesome. I Worship 96 family will be back here next week again at 9 o'clock a.m. Remember, celebrate your dads this month.